All right, friends. Hello. We're back on the Abel Speaks Podcast with another Friends and Family edition. And so last episode, if you missed it, we talked about 5 bad assumptions to not make while you're looking to care for and walk with somebody who is going through a hard time. And then today, we're like, one of those assumptions was to not assume that they will reach out to you if they need something. So we talked about that a little bit, but today we think it would be valuable and hopefully beneficial to just actually rattle off what that could look like. And so we'll tackle it from kind of 2 different angles. One is like when you're actually in their presence, things to do, say that's helpful. Mm-hmm. And then the other bucket would be kind of in their absence as you're loving them from a distance or you're in the neighborhood or whatever. You're not in the room with them, but you're thinking about them and you still want to care for them.
So first, I think when we are in front of someone who is grieving, especially newly grieving, it can be something as simple as just giving them a hug and feeling comfortable sitting in silence. You don't have to fill every moment with words. You can just sit there and be present. Even if you want to go to their house and sit and watch a movie with them where you can still be present, but it doesn't put pressure on them to have a conversation, basically, because sometimes you just don't have the capacity to do that when you're deep in grief, especially new grief. And so, and then just other practical tips, I think, that were really helpful for us would be, instead of people saying, "How are you?" if they would just say, "How are you doing today? How has today been? How has this week been?" Made it a lot more specific. And I could think about my day, my last 24 hours, but I might not have been able to just, "How are you?" It's, a million things go through your mind. And so just try to be as specific as possible will help your loved one be able to give a response that would ultimately help them process, how they are actually doing. And so I think that blessed us a lot. And then also, I think just remembering, when people would remember milestones, where they would reach out and text us, whether that was 1 month since Abel passed away, whether that was my first Mother's Day, whether that was on his birthday, whatever it was, just remembering milestones with us and holidays and things like that, and remembering that it might be a hard day for us or just a mix of emotions for us was really helpful. And then I would also say something that really blessed me was when people would share memories about Abel. So if they got to meet him in the hospital and remembered something funny that happened or something ridiculous that happened, or, something that was actually really sad or annoying, but we can laugh about it now, sort of thing. Or just remember, that he had a really long second toe, or whatever it was. Anything that humanized him did and still does, I think really bless us and reminds us that he really was here and that he was a human created in God's image and that his life mattered and had value.
That's good. So those are good practical things that you can take kind of the initiative on that are not in response to a specific request, but just, hey, I'm thinking about him. I want to care for him, love on him. And so those are a few ways that could look like. Yeah. And so on the other hand, other ways maybe that, hey, maybe I'm not dropping over. Maybe there's not an interaction, so to speak, but it's something that I can do. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the $1 million question. Right. And it's I don't know that there's going to be a ton, and that list probably does look different. So you can't really copy and paste it across the board, depending on who it is that you're caring for. But some people like to have just darn it, today, whether I go give them a wordless hug or whether I just drop something on the porch, make that list for me. So I think I might have just said item number 1.
That's a good one. But first I would say I love talking about this with people who are trying to care for someone walking through grief, because the truth is that the Lord has created you uniquely and has gifted you very uniquely and gifted you to care for your loved one in a way that maybe nobody else can. And so really utilizing that. And so one example that we give often is one of Daniel's friends and coworkers, Adam Tarno at the time.
Oh, yes. Coffee nerd.
Yeah, he loved coffee at the time. I think still does. And he would just drop off this most delicious pot of coffee on our porch. And it was like really early on when Abel first passed away, the first few weeks. And truly, he would text us and say, hey, I just dropped some coffee off on your porch. And I would be like, okay, I'm going to get out of bed today because I want some of that delicious coffee. And that was enough to get me up that day. And so, and that was just him using his gifts the way the Lord created him, the things that he's interested in, to bless and serve our family. And so I would just encourage you to do that as well. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, excited about, good at, use those things to care for the people in your life.
Yeah.
So that's just more broad. But things that blessed us, people setting up a meal train for us. People gave us gift cards. Our favorite was like gift cards to movies. We love movies. So gift card to movie theaters was something we could go do, but it didn't feel like overwhelming. And we didn't really have to talk to people, which was awesome at the time. I think dropping meals off, dropping gifts off on the porch was a gift. We weren't always in a place to like talk to people, but just having breakfast dropped off in the morning or whatever it was really blessed us. Running errands, grocery shopping. If people have older kiddos, offering to watch them for a while or to take them to activities that they might have, as well as any household chores, mowing lawn, just very practical things. And again, sometimes you're just going to have to like say, hey, I'm doing this for you, because if you ask, like, would that help you? Some people have a hard time accepting help. And then also if you ask what they need, they might not know.
Yeah, it's almost like hey, I'm going to do this. Is that okay?
Yes.
Where it's like, if it's actually like, no, that actually would be unhelpful, they can say so.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you're not like looking for the green light. You're like, here's my plan.
Yeah. Will that bless you?
Call me off or that's what I'm going to plan on doing.
Yeah.
And I think that is a frequent one that comes up, that because Abel was our firstborn, we didn't have other kids in our home at that time. But for parents that do, that can just be something that is already difficult for the siblings as far as what they're walking through, processing and things like that. But just even the practical logistical side, can I pick them up from school? Or we're going to go to whatever we're going to go do. Can we come pick them up and they can come with us? Blesses just everybody across the board oftentimes.
And then we have keepsakes on our website that we give to families that connect with Abel Speaks, but people can also buy those for loved ones. We provide like a keepsake box and some other items. So tangible gifts like that too, that remind them of their child is also worth investing in. So, and then I think the last thing on this is just recognizing that once someone walks through deep suffering, it changes them, and they might be different, and hopefully in a way that is like sanctified by the Lord through their suffering, and makes them more like Christ. But that can be really hard for the person walking through grief as well as the person that's trying to love and care for them. And so I think if everybody has that expectation or knows that might be a possibility going in, then we can better navigate the hardship together. So
that's good. And I can't remember, I think I meant to say this and then maybe I didn't, but another just really practical thing in terms of communication and electronic communication in particular is like the less is more principle. Like if you are thinking about somebody and the Lord brings them to your mind, like you can say just the shortest little sentiment and send it. And then I think a good disclaimer that a couple like veterans did this to me, I remember, was at the end they would just say like, hey, no need to reply. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes I wanted to, but it gave me like freedom, took the pressure off, because I'm like, man, that really is so kind, meaningful. I am very grateful for that. But I also don't really feel like replying to text messages today. So it let me do it a few days later or never, because they said I didn't have to. But it always was appreciated and meaningful. And I've stolen and played that many a time as far as alleviating that potential burden for electronic correspondence, whether you get no response or whether you just get the thumbs up button on text. Sometimes that can be like, really, that's it? In that season, it's like, really, that's it, and that is awesome, and that is a thumbs up. That's a win. And so anything else, speaking to the friends and family right now on the practical standpoint?
No, I think that's it. I think as we love and care for people walking through grief, it might be a one-sided relationship for a period of time, and that's okay. And just know whether it's the person walking through grief or the loved ones, everybody's doing the best they can. And so just trying to show grace when maybe we don't do it well, but also hopefully these are some practical ways that you can put into practice and care for the people in your life.
Yep. So that's it. At the end of the day, one of the most tangible provisions for people that are walking through hard seasons is just the presence, the hands, the feet of the body of Christ. And so hopefully that can set you up to do that well. And I think that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Abel Speaks podcast. We'll see you next time.